You were taught that being good would protect you. That lie is exactly why you're controlled. You don't get used because you're unlucky. You get used because you're readable. And the moment you realize that, you'll hate how many times you volunteered to be disrespected. You keep thinking, people judge you by your heart. They don't. They judge you by your position in their mind. And if your position is safe, kind, understanding, always available, then you're not a person to them. You're a resource. Here's the trap nobody sees. The world rewards the person who understands human nature, not the person who pretends it's not real. And that's why Machiavelli is still dangerous. Not because he was evil, because he was accurate. This comes from Machiavelli's The Prince and Modern Psychology, the same reality dressed in different clothes. In the next minutes, you're going to hear 7 brutal psychology laws that outsmart 99% of people. Not to make you better, to make you untouchable. Comment: I see the game now. If you already feel exposed because most people fail right here, they sense the truth and run back to comfort. If people can predict you, they can manage you. If people can script your reaction, they already own you. The prince survives by refusing to be easily read. Being consistent is only praised by people who benefit from your consistency. The human brain loves patterns. The moment you become a pattern, you become a lever. People pull the lever and get the same result. Your forgiveness, your effort, your explanation, your loyalty. And they stop respecting you because nothing about you carries risk. At work, you're the reliable one. You answer fast. You stay late. You fix problems. So what happens? You don't become valued. You become a sign. You're not trusted. You're expected. And expectation kills respect. In your family, you're the peacemaker. You always smooth things over. They keep creating chaos because they know you'll clean it. Become harder to predict without becoming chaotic. Delay, pause, withhold, immediate emotional access. And this is where most people destroy themselves, because they confuse unpredictability with being fake. No, you're not being fake. You're removing the leash. Type, I choose strategic strength in the comments. Not for me. For you. Your intentions are irrelevant. Your image is your fate. People don't remember what you meant. They remember what you allowed. People don't live in truth. They live in appearance. A ruler who depends on being understood is finished. Most people don't verify. They assume. They feel. Then they decide. If you mean well, but look weak, you will be treated as weak. If you mean nothing but look powerful, you'll be treated as powerful. You set a boundary politely. You smile. You explain your feelings. And the other person hears. You can push this. But someone else says the same boundary with calm finality, no explanation, no emotional tremble, and suddenly it's respected. Why? Because boundaries aren't respected based on logic. They're respected based on the cost of violating them. Stop trying to be understood. Start trying to be felt. Use fewer words. Move slower. End conversations first. Listen carefully. This decides your future. The more you explain yourself, the more you look like you need permission. Comment, I stop explaining. You know you've talked yourself into being dismissed. If you're good with no edge, you're not good. You're edible. Kindness without boundaries is an invitation to be used. Mercy used wrong becomes self-destruction. Some people don't interpret kindness as love. They interpret it as low status. Not because kindness is weak, because unprotected kindness looks like fear of conflict, and predators don't hunt strength. They hunt softness that won't bite back. A friend always needs something. Money, attention, time, emotional labor. You give. You listen. You forgive. They never respect you more. They respect you less. Because every time you give without consequence, you teach them, I will stay even if you drain me. Same in relationships. You tolerate disrespect to prove you're mature. They don't call you mature, they call you convenient. Every kindness must contain a boundary. Give less, but make it mean more. Withdraw access the moment disrespect appears. No speeches. This is where good people lose everything. Because they think boundaries make them cold. No, boundaries make your warmth valuable. Type, I'm not a resource in the comments if that sentence hit too hard. People respect what can punish them. You don't need to be loud. You need to be costly. It's safer to be feared than loved, because love is a contract people break when it benefits them. Fear is a cost they calculate. Humans are not guided by what's right. They're guided by what's rewarded and what's punished. If there is no consequence for ignoring you, you will be ignored. If there is no consequence for disrespecting you, you will be disrespected. You keep asking your coworker to stop dumping tasks on you. They keep doing it. Why? Because your no has no teeth. It's a suggestion. You keep telling someone, don't talk to me like that. They keep talking to you like that. Why? Because you keep staying me. Disrespect expensive. Not with anger, with removal, with silence, with access denied, with opportunities closed. Most people fail right here, because they try to create consequence after they've already shown they can be pushed. Comment, costly. If you're done being cheap to mistreat, the more emotional you are, the more steerable you become. Your feelings are real. Your display is optional. A ruler cannot afford to be governed by feelings, because others will learn which feelings move him. Emotional leaks are data. When you overreact, you reveal where you can be controlled. When you get defensive, you reveal insecurity. When you rush to prove yourself, you reveal hunger. And hungry people are easy to bait. Someone makes a small, disrespectful joke about you in a group. You laugh too hard to prove you're fine, or you snap to prove you're strong. Either way, they now know the button. In relationships, you explain your pain, hoping for empathy. But if the other person is manipulative, you just handed them a map. Feel everything. Show less. Respond slower than your emotions want to. Let silence do the intimidation your anger used to do. And this is where most people destroy themselves. They think control means numbness. No, control means choice. Type, I move slower. If you've been reacting your way into disrespect. Neediness is submission. Attachment is beautiful. Dependency is slavery. Power belongs to the one who can walk away. The prince who needs approval becomes a servant to the crowd. Humans chase what might leave, not because they're evil, because scarcity triggers value. If you're always available, your presence becomes background noise. If you can leave, your presence becomes a privilege. You text back instantly. You always pick up. You always say yes. You think you're showing loyalty. They experience it as, you have nothing else going on. You need me. And then, without saying it, they start treating you like an option. At work, you're desperate to be liked. So you accept disrespect from people who wouldn't survive one day without your effort. Create distance on purpose. Not to play games. To restore value. Say less. Reply later. And first. Here's the trap nobody sees. If you can't tolerate being misunderstood, you'll always be controlled by people who weaponize your need to be seen. Comment, I can walk away. If you're done negotiating for basic respect, your reputation should scare the wrong people. A strong reputation saves you from endless battles. Cruelty used once can prevent endless chaos later. A leader's reputation creates order without constant fighting. People don't test what they believe will hurt them. The goal isn't to be feared by everyone. The goal is to be seen as someone who is calm and not worth the risk. You want a reputation that says, I'm fair. But if you cross the line, you lose access permanently. There's someone in every workplace who never gets messed with. Not because they're loud, because they're consistent with consequences. There's someone in every family who isn't guilt-tripped. Not because they argue better, because guilt doesn't work on them anymore. They leave the room. They leave the event. They leave the dynamic. Let your no become a legend. One clean boundary with real consequence teaches people faster than 1,000 explanations. This next part separates the weak from the powerful. Most people wait until they're pushed too far, then explode. Power is setting the tone early. Type, "My no is final," if you're ready to stop negotiating your limits. Now you understand the game. Not the fake game people talk about online. The real one you've been living in since childhood. The world is not run by the best-hearted. It's run by the best position, and position is built from perception, consequence, control, and unpredictability. Most people live like this. They show everything, explain everything, forgive everything, react to everything. They think that makes them human.no. It makes them manageable. Survivors don't win because they're cruel. They win because they're hard to manipulate. They don't hand out emotional access like free samples. They don't beg to be understood. They don't call exploitation love. They don't confuse peace with surrender. And the most brutal part? Once you see these laws, you can't unsee them. From this point forward, ignorance is no longer an excuse. If you keep being predictable, you'll be controlled. If you keep relying on intention, you'll be misjudged. If you keep giving without boundaries, you'll be drained. If you keep tolerating disrespect, you'll be trained into weakness. If you keep leaking emotion, you'll be steered. If you keep clinging, you'll be owned. If you keep neglecting your reputation, you'll be targeted. So choose, not between good and bad, between victimhood and strategy. Because power doesn't reward purity, power rewards control. Comment, "I choose strategy," if you're done living like a volunteer in your own life. If this made you uncomfortable, good. It means you're waking up. This is 7 brutal psychology laws that outsmart 99% of people. Machiavelli. Rewatch it and listen for the moments you wanted to disagree. Those are the parts exposing your programming. Now, prove you're not like everyone else. Which law described you the most before today, 1 through 7? Write the number in the comments. Not to confess, to take control publicly. And if you're brave enough to keep going, subscribe, because the next video isn't about becoming confident. It's about becoming dangerous to manipulate.